You or someone you love needs help for an addiction. Where do you turn? Foundations Recovery Network offers individualized treatment for the whole person. Our goal goes beyond short-term sobriety. We address substance abuse and co-occurring mental health issues together, providing a firm foundation for long-term recovery. The first step is often the hardest, but we're here with a free assessment, insurance information, and treatment options. Our confidential helpline is available 24/7, so call 877-714-1318 and discover the Foundations Recovery Network difference today.
This is Rich Roll, and you're listening to Sober Guy Radio.
Topic of tonight, already said this like 17 times, community, okay? The 3 talking points. What is community? What is community? Why do you need it? And how do you find it? I know for me, for a long time, I tried to do a lot of things on my own, whether that was out of fear, whether it was out of anger, of resentments, all different types of reasons on why I think I can do it on my own. And the fact of the matter is, I couldn't. And that's what ultimately led me to asking for some help and getting sober and going on down the path that really ultimately changed my life. Seth, if you want to start out, I think we'll share a little bit about each other. I'm going to share about you, Seth. Seth, can I share?
Yeah, so what's up, everybody? My name's Seth. Just celebrated 8 years of sobriety a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So my story in a nutshell with community behind it. So it started out, my drinking and drugging started out in high school, obviously. Actually, it started earlier before that with as a young child in 4th grade. My community, usually on Thursday nights as my addiction progressed, was down at Merchant and Main or TJ's. That was a big hangout of mine. And then my community, as I continued down that path, it turned into jails. Spent a couple nights in the drunk tank. Was definitely known as when I was in New York as the local drunk, one of the local drunks. And then my community ended at Azure Acres, where I finally got sober. So through my whole life, my community had changed. And it still changes today. And I
found you in the gutter a couple times.
Yeah, I did hang out in the gutter a couple times, face down.
Garage floor.
So most definitely, my community changed over the course of my whole drinking career. And now and we'll get into this. It's a different community that I lean on today. In order to obtain and maintain my sobriety, because it's most definitely a daily grind, a daily work. So that's a little bit about my story.
What does if anybody cares to just shout it out, what does community mean to you? Anybody? Nobody?
Oh, come on!
Are you serious? You can't leave till you answer. Togetherness. That's for sure. Who else said something? What's that? Others to rely on, for sure. Support. That's a good one. So let me actually touch on that really quick. That's really, really good. One of the things, like I mentioned before, the battle was, I got this, especially as a man. And speaking, because I'm a man, I can speak for a man, right? But I can do this on my own. I don't need any help. It's almost looked at as a weakness to ask for help a lot of times. And I think that's what got me in the position that I was in for such a long time, was not being able to open up and ask for some help. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. And I'm not saying that I have it figured out by any means and I do it all the time now. I definitely don't. It's all a process. But the point to that too, and what you said was the selfishness in that. It's not, so I need to ask for help, but at the same time, it's not all about me. And that's something that has came with connecting with other people and learning from other people. So let me back up a little bit. First of all, it's so cool to see I've met some new people tonight, and there's a lot of people here that I know, that both of us know, family, friends, and it really just does mean a lot to me to have all you guys here. And I know Seth feels the same way. This is like family to us. That's what it's about. And I just appreciate every single person here. Thank you. And I want to mention, this is really cool. When we talk about community, the first thing I met with my sponsor this morning, and he started talking about our neighbors. How many of y'all know your neighbors? Like the people that, man, that was awesome. Like I wasn't sure what the response would get to that, because you talk to a lot of people, they don't know their neighbors. The person that lives next door to you. Like that's where this starts at. And so where's my homie and neighbor Randy? Where'd he go? Is he out here somewhere? Did he go inside? I don't see him. Okay, well, he's around here somewhere. Maybe he went to the bathroom, maybe he took off. I don't know. I see Randy. We move into the house last year, and I find out Randy's in recovery too. He had to run home. Okay, I'm sure he'll be back. If not, I'll see him tomorrow because he's my damn neighbor. So So I get to talk, we talk and stuff, and I gave him the flyer for the show, and he goes, man, I'll be there. And I go, dude, that's awesome, bro. It's so cool. Like, I'm glad you're going to be there. He calls me the next day, and he goes, you're not going to believe this, because he told me him and his sponsor were coming. And I go, what? He goes, my sponsor knows you. I said, who's your sponsor? He said, Charlie. And I said, are you kidding me right now? So Charlie, thank you for coming out, Mr. and Mrs. Robinette. Love you guys. Stuff like this, when you step out and connect with people, it comes full circle. And so let me elaborate on this, and you feel free to jump in, because we're both a part of this. You had a mullet. I had some crooked ass teeth that said, next tooth 1 mile in the 5th grade when him and I met. And Charlie was our rec league basketball coach in the 5th grade. That's how Seth and I met. Yeah. And we played some hoop, and we did suck. I think we were like 0-7. Yeah, we weren't very good.
Bro, I know I was the 5-minute foul out. Yeah, I fouled out in 5 minutes. I thought I was playing football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of like ghetto ball. There wasn't much dribbling going on. You just kind of huddled around it and ran through fools. Yeah. We definitely weren't very good. We did.
Good times.
We did. A lot of good memories in that too. And I think back to that, and it's funny because I didn't have a clue what recovery was or anything about that, man. I was in 5th grade. But God connects people in ways that is unexplainable sometimes. It's only pure faith. And so when we're doing the next right thing, that kind of stuff falls into place. And that is how, at least for me, I've been able to make some changes and kind of move forward things in a positive direction.
Yeah, and the other thing, I'm probably going to throw the whole topic off here.
It's all good.
So for me, community is, like Shane was saying, the neighbor, your support group, the people at the gym, and I don't even know I don't know what I'm going to say. Save me here.
Well, I think we can get into my first experience. I can share that a little bit about being in treatment, and it just told me I can't share this story. Now I'm like caught in okay, I'm going to share it anyway. Sorry. I'll do the edited version. So you go into treatment, and I'm trying to do this on my own. I get in there, and there's a big group of people, and everyone's going around, and you're nervous, and things going on, like you don't really know what's up. And so this girl, Gina, comes up. She goes, I'm struggling. I've been in and out of jail. I've been going through a lot of things in my life. I had a rough upbringing, and then it gets to Andrew. And Andrew, said, man, I was in group homes, and man, it's been a real tough time. I'm really glad to be here. Everyone's going around sharing, and I'm like, dude, what is going on right now? I'm kind of like feeling a little bit awkward, and in that moment, I don't really know. I've done everything on my own for a long time. And then it comes to Squirrel. I'm not going to tell you his real name just in case, but we called him Squirrel anyways. And Squirrel goes, yeah, bro, I only had enough pills to I couldn't swallow them. So I had to, wait, I'm getting I can't say it. Okay, oh gosh, I can't say it. Well, let's just say Squirrel chose to use a turkey baster to access his best, his best, application. Thank you. Was that Scotty? Thank you. Point being, I go, where in the heck am I right now? And I think I'm in the wrong community at this point. Like I need to find some people. But that was kind of a learning experience in that atmosphere, in saying like, man, I think I need to be around some other people and learn from some other people, and that kind of shifted on as recovery and sobriety move forward. Did you have something?
Yeah, so I think the story with Squirrel, right, is it's important for us to remember that, we are all in this human existence, right? And we all have different ways on how we deal stuff. But in the end, right, we're all the same being for the most part. Whether it's using the turkey baster for your, putting in your best receptor to get it into your blood. I put a turkey baster in my ear one time. Different method, but I think it's important to know the process of the how you use the drug or the drug that you use. It's the same as the next, right? It's just a different way of how we deal with things in our life. And as long as we are able to meet that with love and compassion and understanding, we're able to see through all of that. And we're able to understand that, in fact, we are all just human. We're all going through the same stuff. We just deal with it other ways, different ways. That's kind of how I live my life today. No matter, race, sex, creed, religion, whatever, just a reminder that, Scotty, I'm just like you. Gary, I'm just like you. I'm a human being, but I deal with my life in a different way. I deal with the same stuff that you have to deal with. I just deal with it differently. And I think as long as we could see that, we could all understand that about one another and kind of try to relate depending on, or no matter whatever your thought process is.
Yeah, it's good.
Any sense? Does that make sense?
No, totally, man. And I don't know, does anybody have any comments or questions or thoughts that they want to share right now real quick before we keep rolling? No? Everyone good? Whatever you want, Phil. You're my boy, Blue. Attaboy. Oh, yeah. I love you, Phil.
Hey, my name's Philip. I'm a grateful believer.
What's up, Phil?
Hey.
Yeah.
14-year meth addiction brought me here.
Yeah.
And that was my that was a part of a community that I was only known for. I can get somebody the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
That was it, man. Just what people can get from me or what I can get from them. And now I'm a part of a community that doesn't want nothing from me, right? My sponsor's here, Big Bill over there. When I walk into the rooms, I'm looking around, and he says, "What are you looking around for? Are you in the right place? Sit down." Okay, But he that night he gave me a ride home. So I showed up here with a basket of clothes.
Laundry basket, right?
Yeah, laundry baskets. 7 years ago, man, I had nothing to offer anybody. So he gives me a ride home, and he says, and when he drops me off, he goes, "Hey, man, I see good in you. And, just so you know, I don't want nothing from you, but if you ever need anything, give me a call, man. Here's my number." And I just cried. Yeah. I'm like, what is that? That's a community now that I'm a part of. And I think we talk about the sobriety community. These are people that, they want to see you succeed. Nobody ever wanted to see me succeed. And now I get to do that back, right? I get to believe in you and believe in some other guys, and so I'm thankful for this community, man. I wouldn't be here without it, So I think that to answer the question, what is community? And it's the lifeline. It's the lifeline. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Hey, Phil. Thank you, man. That's good stuff. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Phil. And I just one, one thing that I want to say about that, and you could come on up. That's the love and compassion that I talk about that we get from community. And if we could only take the recovery world outside of the rooms of recovery and show that love and compassion to those of us that aren't in recovery but maybe need to get a little bit of recovery just to improve our life, like drugs and alcohol aside, but just to improve your mindset. If we could express that love and compassion in our community here, Vacaville, California, the world would be a better place. So
Amen.
That's a true sign, right, of that love and compassion that I talk about.
Hey, guys, thank you. My name is Scott, and I'm a grateful believer as well.
What's up, Scott?
I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic, and thank you very much for doing this and
thanks for coming.
doing this podcast. It's awesome. And it's funny when you asked where Randy went. I've known that guy for 25 years, maybe longer.
Yeah.
But he's Stumpy. His nickname is Stumpy.
That's what you know him as.
That's what he was introduced as, is Stumpy.
I just met you, Sean, and I know you live across the street. And see, that's where years of drinking and using takes me. I can't add 2 plus 2 sometimes. So
It's cool. I got a friend named Muff, and nobody knows him by his real name, which is Aaron.
Right,
so
right.
I got you.
So
He even introduces himself as Muff.
Muff. So anyway, it's just good to be here tonight, and community is very important. And my thought process sometimes will keep me at home because I don't want to go see people that may have seen me in my past. Those embarrassing times and some of my behaviors around this town were awful. But then when I go like to the tree lighting or something, I lived up in Oregon for about 6 years, and now I'm back, and I love Vacaville. This is my hometown, and it's just good to see people like Marcy and Charlie out here tonight, and all of you. It's good to see all of you, even though I don't know some of you, and it's just good, man. Thank you very much for doing this, and community is very important. Oh, and what I was getting at was once I get out and go to something like the tree lighting or something like this, I'm always happy I went. Yeah. After I go. All you got to do is shower and get there. Show up, like Sean was talking about. Yeah. So thanks, you guys.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's a good point. Real quick, we used to say this, and I'll use the edited version from a counselor, David. He said, "Move your butt, and your mind will follow." So I know that is just what you said is so true. That resistance that creeps in, that little voice in my head that stops me from walking out whatever my purpose is, whether it's a long-term purpose or whether it's just whatever my purpose is in that moment. Once that thing gets going up there, it can really do some work on somebody and on me. And if I get up and move, man, that just gets it rolling, and I can start to go in the right direction when I'm doing that. So I mean, that's a really, really good point. Anyone else have anything? Anyone else have any thoughts or questions? Yeah, what's up, Matt? Come on up, man. Yeah.
Hey, my name's Matt. I'm an alcoholic.
What's up, Matt?
So community's big for me, especially. So I've been sober 8 years. Before I got sober, there was this big separation. I didn't really have a community. Growing up in a dysfunctional family, I started working in a career and what I thought was my family. I thought that was a community I fit in with, but there was this separation. So I saw myself as different from the world, and some of that was a mental something that I had to do with the stuff that I deal with at work. But it just played this game in my head, and so I drank to try to fit in, but then I was always that guy, and no one wanted to be around me when I was drinking. Go figure. So when I got sober, I realized real quick that I was around a bunch of people that were like me, and I could start looking for those similarities, and I could see the similarities and accept the similarities. And when I realized that I wasn't any different than anyone else, I could let my guard down, and it gave me the ability to be a part of a community. It gives me the ability to come out to something like this and stand in front of you and talk and, not sit at home and just be on my couch watching, reruns and whatever.
Matlock.
So, that's community for me, is being able to be a part of something bigger than myself. Yeah. So, thank you.
That's good, man. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, so I want to share real quick, too. This is kind of cool, and this goes right along with it, with stepping out. Getting out of your comfort zone, getting uncomfortable, and doing stuff that, like, when I started stepping out and doing things that I wasn't necessarily comfortable doing, that's when things started to happen that was unexpected for me. And I give that up to God. I mean, that's him doing work through me. And Matt's a cool example of that. Matt and I met like 3 years ago, right? Jess and I don't know if Jess, if you saw Matt here, but if you remember, we have another homie, Paul Churchill, who started a podcast around a little bit after Sober Guy started. He's out in Montana, called Recovery Elevator. And so Paul happened to be from out here. I think he's from the Santa Rosa area originally, and he did a meetup, a retreat out in San Francisco. So Jess and I got out for the night. We went out there and we all met. There was probably like 20 of us. We had a meeting, we had dinner, and Matt and myself and Jess, I don't remember your wife's name, but your wife was there too, I think, right? And, it just so happened we were from the same area. I haven't seen you in a couple of years, and all of a sudden you're here tonight. And that's like things like that, like they don't happen by accident. Like we're connected for a purpose, for a reason. And the more that I've started to understand that, the more that it makes sense. And that makes it that much easier to step out and, like you said, kind of show up. Let's just show up. That's one of the biggest things for me is I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to have the expectations ready. What am I going to get out of this? How can I benefit? Any of that stuff. I just need to show up. And when I do that, most of the time, crap, I almost said a bad word again. Crap works out just like it's supposed to. I'm doing so good, right, Lou? Thank you. I love you guys. Thank you for sitting right in the front, too. You guys are awesome. I'm sorry, man, if I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, and I think the biggest thing is, like Matt, you were saying, is knowing and understanding that people are feeling the exact same way that you're feeling. If you haven't noticed, like I'm totally socially awkward. I have a hard time sitting up here and talking and putting myself out there. And I think a lot of that comes back to expectations, right? I expect that this thing is going to be grandiose and great, and it is, by the way. This is great.
It's pretty bad.
But as soon as I let go of those expectations and this, like Shane says, just do the next right thing and understand that Matt is probably feeling the exact same way that I'm feeling coming into something that you don't know, but we're right where we're supposed to be. And as long as we could understand and accept that, I think that goes a long way. And the good stuff that comes out of it, right? So me sitting up here in front of a bunch of strangers is going to help me talk to the stranger outside of here. So I think that, Matt, that's a great point. All of us are feeling the exact same way, or maybe there's a lot of similarities in those feelings that we share, and talking about them, and it alleviates my stress a little bit for sure. Still socially awkward as all get out, but knowing that other people are feeling that exact way and talking about it, I think is huge. So thank you for that.
I wanted to talk a little bit about what some of the resources are to step out into community. Like what is it? And I'll share a couple that work for me, and I'm hoping that somebody else has something, or somebody or something that they would like to share a little bit about too. Phil, thanks for coming up here, man. That was it's always, I always love when you talk. You're funny, man. It's so real and raw, and just like you don't care in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a lot of love there, man. And I love that about you, man. And thank you. And I just want to say, like, mentors, whether you call it a friend, a sponsor, a mentor, a coach, whatever it is, that is one of the most important. And it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter. You can be a kid. You can be a grown adult. It does not matter. Without a mentor, without, somebody to help call me on my crap, to guide me, to encourage me, man, I was lost for a long time without that. And so Phil and Bill, okay, I'm part of, I know we always say Phil and Bill. I guess we could tell you guys this too. I told Jess one night, we were saying Phil and Bill. Sounds like two clowns in a circus. And you guys are totally the complete opposite of that. And let me tell you why. It's great, man. Like, I'm a part of CR, Celebrate Recovery at the Father's House, and it's an amazing program. A lot of people think it's just for people that struggle with addiction. It's not. It's for everybody, and Seth alluded to that earlier. This is about living a better life, and there's no definite right way that we wake up one day and we just have all the answers. It doesn't work like that. And we go into meetings, and these two guys, Phil and Bill right here, they lift people up like no other. And they've been through their own stuff. They've done their own things. And they're great examples of that. And there's a lot of great examples of that in here too. But I really, want to single these two guys out because I'm with them every week. And, without people like that in my life, like it is very hard to get out of my own head. And, you feel trapped sometimes. Like I can get trapped in my own mind. And that's what led me to drinking and using drugs for over 20 years. I went back, I said, damn, I'm getting old. Over 20 years, like since the first time I started, or the first time I used alcohol. So you have certain, you have certain groups, you have certain people, and then you got homies too. Kenny, Scotty, like I love you guys. Shane, man, like, Josh, like, I mean, that makes up like me. I take a little bit apart of all of my homies, of all my family, and that's what makes me into like the person. That's what helps shape. And so it's such an important thing to have those people in our lives that help us along the way, that help to guide us, encourage us, push us along when we need a little help, when we need a little love. That's all I got.
Yeah, no, and just to tag on to that, right? So, me and Shane, we've known each other for a little bit of time now. And to be 100% honest, like I've been struggling hardcore the last couple weeks, man, and I reached out. So that's where
that was
it all
hard
starts.
to do, huh?
Yeah,
to reach out.
Let's
talk about that a little bit. Are you cool with that?
That's where I'm going.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's where I'm going. So I was kind of avoiding, right? Avoiding the reach out. And finally, like I got to the point to where I was like, man, like I can't do this anymore. I was starting to have thoughts and feelings that I had when I was drinking and drugging that I hadn't had in a very long time. And so I reached out. I reached out to Shane, and we had a meetup, man, and the things that I was feeling, that I was going through, I was surprised to know that Shane deals with that same stuff on the daily that I deal with on a daily. So getting back to having that mentor or that sponsor, or friend that you could reach out to, it's so important. And I can't say that I'm on my way back. I'm not where I was maybe 6-7 months ago. But this is all part of the process, is talking about that, talking about the struggle, talking about the daily grind. And it's important that we stay connected, that we stay connected to that community, connected to that group, to keep us out of that mindset. And that talk that I had with Shane was a wake-up call.
But that's kind of what we're talking about too, that lifeline, right?
Absolutely,
like who do you have that you can call, that you trust, or that you can go over to their house, or you can maybe you email, I don't know, maybe you text, whatever it is that you do, and say like, hey, like, damn, I'm really going through some crap right now, and like I need to chat about it. It's huge.
It's huge. It's definitely.
That's what you said. That's what you said.
That's what I said.
That was for you, babe. Anyone else questions, anything before I go off the hook right now? Yeah, man. Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, what's up, Charlie?
I'm in recovery, and neither one of these guys can play basketball.
Yep, that's for sure.
Seth was the best fullback I had as center, okay? He would hurt 3 or 4 guys, and one of these guys would score, okay? And that's what it's all about, is scoring in life. That's what we're talking about tonight, right? I know Brother Bill for a lot of years, man, and I know Seth's mom and dad. I know a lot of people here. We're talking about the community, and we all know about our past. We can't forget about our past, right?
Yeah.
Because if we do, it'll mess up today, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're talking about you got out of you lost your connection, but also you came up on a birthday, and anytime we come around birthdays, we get squirrely, right?
Yeah,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean? So, part of my main community today is hanging out with people that are clean and sober, and having that conscious contact of the higher power. That's what I got to have. Yeah. When I lose that, then I start acting like them other 300 painters I work with. You know what I mean? And there's only about 4 of them that are clean and sober in my shop, okay? And so you really got to be on your A game, right, boys?
Yeah.
Even though we might be losing in life, we're winning in the game of recovery, right? And that's what we got to do. It's all about being together today.
Yeah. And
all of us I wouldn't have came up here. My Stump sent me a picture of these 2 clowns on my phone. And I turned it off and turned it back on, and I'm like, man, I said, them boys grew up with my son.
Yeah.
And Chucky stopped by to give you guys a hug.
I know, that was cool.
That's what,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Chucky's not one of us unless he drinks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he don't drink but every 2 or 3 years. I don't understand that, right?
Yeah.
It's all or nothing for us, right? And it's all or nothing for here. That's
Yeah.
why we got to show up to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I had to get up and talk before I leave because I get up at 2:30. I already told
you
my
crazy.
homies, man, you ain't gonna see me after 8 o'clock. I don't care what's going on, unless we're eating. If we're eating now, that'd be something different, all right? But right now, we're all got this big community right here at this coffee shop.
Yeah.
And you got our kids here, and you guys got some beautiful kids, man. And
thank you.
And me and your mom and dad and my wife, we done got older, and man, it's like, whoa, what happened, But I'm old and clean today.
Yeah.
And nobody can take that from me, right? Nobody can take that from us.
Yeah.
And there's so many different kinds of recovery. The Father's house and the meetings and whatever we choose. Talking to somebody on the phone one day when you're hurting.
Yeah.
That phone number saved your life that night, Phil, right? A phone number. Can you imagine that? When you're at your lowest, a phone number can save your life.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah.
It ain't about all the stuff that we got or what we don't have, right? It's about what we got right here, right? And so I got off my laurels and said something before I left, you know what I mean? We're all sitting on our ass, you know what I mean? Like, whoa. But I don't want to say nothing. I'm going to be on the radio and shit, I hope nobody knows who I am, So they call me Cajun Charlie in all the rooms,
Yeah.
And it's a gift to be here and see you gentlemen.
Man, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, man.
It warms my heart, man, to know that somebody's
Love you, man.
clean and sober, man. You youngsters, man. I never got like that, man. So till we meet again, right?
I love
family?
you, Charlie. Thank you. Hey, Charlie,
The dog's getting tired. I gotta go home.
You got to make your lunch too, man. Don't forget your ham sandwich.
Great excuse, Charlie. Thank you so much for coming out.
Yeah, thank
you bring up a great point, right? Our past, and continually working on our program. I'm gonna tell a little story that happened a couple weeks ago. Actually, it was last week. So they say that the relapse happens way before we pick up the drink or drug, right? And I knew for a fact that my relapse had already begun, right? So I met my mom and dad for dinner last week for my birthday, and we pulled up into this parking lot, and it was at one of the eating establishments here in town, and right in front of me, there's a sign that says "No parking, customers only." Right? I said, whatever. Like, I'm just gonna park here. Whatever. Like, who cares? Most definitely not doing the right thing, not obeying the signs. Right? And this guy comes running out of the store, and he says, "Hey, I just want to say that I'm not going to call the cops or anything, or I'm not going to call the tow company, but you might want to move your truck because someone will call the tow company and your truck will get towed. But it's not me. Like, I won't do it." So that was my thought exactly. Like, yeah, right. This mother is going to be the one to call the tow truck, right? So the way that I was feeling at that exact moment was all his fault. It had nothing to do with me. And that... Yeah. And that was the exact moment that I was like, holy crap. I'm going back into my old mindset, my old ways. I need to do something about it right now. Because if I don't, I'm going to be in trouble. And I think I picked up the phone the next day and called Shane and was like, dude, we need to get together. Like, I got to talk to you. I got to tell you about this shit. So that's a big point, right? Always remembering where we were before we got sober to keep us sober and to use that as a warning sign that our next drink or drug is probably not too far behind. So thank you for that, Charlie. I appreciate that. So that true story, that really happened. And we went in and sat down at the table, and I told Jay and my mom, like, I was ranting and raving. I was hot. Like, I did get out and move my truck. I moved it all the way down the street and said, fine, that mother's not going to call the tow truck on me now because I'm parked all the way down. Just over nothing, right?
Yeah.
Over a parking spot, over something that I was doing wrong consciously and mad at him about. So written, I call it, I can't say the whole, so K-Heck radio was playing really loud in my head that day. So thank you for letting me share that story. I think it's pretty funny.
Charlie, you said something else I wanted to touch on. I think we're going to open it up one more time, and then we're going to do the raffle. We got some stuff to give away, some coffee mugs, some gift certificates. One more time, too, I don't know if the Journey crew is out here anywhere, but I just want to say thanks again to them for letting us come out here tonight and getting together. Really, really cool of them to do that and let us have the little meet up here tonight. Charlie, you said something else too. I don't remember exactly how you said it, but you said something about in the moment. I know it's cool. You got to get up at 2:30 a.m. So but in the moment, like what is in the moment? What is living in the moment? How many of us everything's absolutely 100% perfect in your life? Okay, I figured that, right? No, we all have stuff. Like I got bills to pay, I got work to do, I got kids to love on and raise, a wife to love. I have things to do. I have all these different things that I got going on in my brain that are just taking up space and all this stuff. And when all that stuff starts adding up and the stress and the finances and all this stuff that we deal with on the daily, like, what do I do with that? Like, do I future trip on everything and freak out? Or do I rely on God, on what I know to be my higher power, to my to my spirit, to my inside, to know that everything's going to work out and live in the moment. It's not an easy thing to do, but back to the topic again, and having folks around us to help us do that is really where it's at. So living in the moment, and I think I share this every podcast dang near, and every show too. I have a big foot. It's like this big white molded foot. It's really ugly, and it's on the back of the shelf in the garage. And on my year of sobriety, I think we went out to dinner, me, Jess, Mel, and Seth. And Seth pulled this bag out, and he said, "Here you go." And I was all excited. "Oh, yeah, you got me a gift, man. This is awesome." Yeah, I pulled it out, and it's this ugly-ass foot. I go, "What the hell? What is this, man?" And he goes, "Dude, that's your foot, bro." And I said, "What do you mean that's my foot?" And he goes, "Remember what I told you?" And I went, "Ah, yeah." And what he told me was, when you feel lost, when you feel out of place, if you feel anxiety, if you feel like things aren't going your way, just look at your feet, because you're right where you're supposed to be. We're all supposed to be right here, right now, and that's it. That's what we're supposed to be doing right now in this moment. And when I practice that, I ain't perfect at it, no doubt. It's a practice, it's a process every day. But when I'm in that moment, man, things seem a lot easier and a lot better. So, and I'm as I encourage you, I'm encouraging myself too to really follow that, because man, we all know some days are better than others, for sure.
Yeah, I got one more on that too. Something that I just learned recently, right? That I've started following the Dharma a little bit, and I was listening to this podcast, and this guy brought up this fact that what they teach in Burma. I think Burma, the Burmese mountains, that this life, this body that we're in, this human existence, no matter what your belief is that end result of this life, of this body, of this human existence is the exact same for all of us, right? It's going to come to an end. But if you don't believe that or not, your human life is going to come to an end. So why not take every moment exactly for what it is and be present and mindful? And it's okay to be pissed off or distressed or depressed, as long as we meet that with love and compassion and understand it and know why we are where we're at. Then we could begin to work ourselves out of it. And even happy too, right? Not clinging to those happy moments, but being with them. So just like looking at your feet, understanding and knowing that our life as we know it today in this moment is most definitely going to come to an end. It's guaranteed. I guarantee you. Thank you for letting me share that.
I love it. All right, I got something real quick. The first person to tell us something about yourself that nobody knows, I got a coffee mug for you. Yell it out.
I built a 50 caliber black powder gun.
Oh, nice. Did
What?
you shoot it?
Shot it.
That's legit.
Damn.
Who else? Something we don't know about you. Anybody?
I used to be a cosmetologist.
Dang, we got a couple cosmetologists in the house.
All right. Let's do the music one real quick. Tell me a song that you're super embarrassed to admit that you listen to. Make it good. Sweet Caroline.
Hell yeah.
Sing that. All right, we got, so what's that, Jess? You want to grab the raffle tickets, Lou? Okay. So once again, I mentioned, Journey was nice enough to give us some gift certificates. Thanks, buddy. Oh, right on, man. Thank you, Charlie.
Charlie.
They were nice enough to give us some gift certificates, as well as Eco Chic also donated a gift certificate to their store too. So be sure to check both of them out, and we really, really appreciate their support. And real quick, we're getting the raffle ready. Does anyone else have anything that they want to share or questions or anything before we move on? And feel free. We still got some time. I know some people might have to use the restroom or whatever, so feel free to do that too. Yeah, awesome. All right. We're going to do it in just a couple minutes, okay, girls?
Loud,
All right.
but I don't know if I need this. But I think what you guys are doing is great, and I'll support in every way I can. I come from a history of family of really bad addicts, and what the sad thing is I don't think
I'm
don't
going to have you get on the
anyone
mic a
to,
little bit
like-
because it's recording too. So, yeah, perfect. There you go.
Okay.
You sound awesome,
to.
by the way.
So you guys are sharing your story. In community, what I think is sharing your story and letting people see it, because you will touch people. Wish I could pull my family out here, but I just think all of you, I mean, it's just awesome that you're constantly sharing it and reaching out to each other. I think, you may, like you said, it's hard to reach out, and I deal with my own stuff that's hard to reach out, but I think just the more you do it, it's the community that helps you.
Yeah.
And but that's awesome.
What was it
hopefully-
like for you before, though, without community? Do you care to share a little bit? Like, I mean, I'm not saying to get into details or anything. You don't
Damn,
have to
put
do
her
that,
on the
but
spot.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, the difference, though, between without people in your life that help support you and then now with people in your life, it's a
I
huge
think
difference.
You just feel lonely, like you just it's hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
You get used to reaching to just family, and then
Yeah.
that's kind of like just what you're raised with, just your family and close
Yeah.
friends. But yeah, the community does make a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I'm part of the Father's House too, but it does make a huge difference. And I wish, in time, people that I know that are struggling with addiction will get there, but it takes time. But
Yeah.
you guys are awesome.
Well, that's like too. That's a good point too. Like, I can't help anybody. I can share with you what's worked for me and what
Yeah.
hasn't worked for me.
Yeah.
But I can tell somebody that I love more than anything in the world till I'm blue in the face what they should do, what they need to do, what they can't do, why they should do this. That doesn't make any difference. It's a waste of my time. Not because I don't love them, not because I don't care about them, but that's up to them. That's up to us. That's up to me to
Yeah.
take personal responsibility and do that.
And
So
I think the
that's a
more
really
you
good
share,
point.
you're going to hear, whether you know it or not, somebody will hear it. And
Yeah.
you will touch somebody, what
Absolutely.
you guys are doing, you eventually, you're touching people every day. So
Thank you.
anyway. that's
Yeah,
fine.
thank you. Anyone else have anything? Oh, yeah. What's up? How are you?
Hi, I'm Sarah.
What's up,
Hey,
Sarah?
Sarah.
Thanks for having this. I really appreciate this.
Yeah.
Question: how do you guys feel about anonymity and what you do? Like, you're sharing your stories, you're sharing who you are. I mean, you're not really talking about. I mean, you've mentioned kind of how you got sober. I kind of came a little bit late, but how do you feel about what you're doing and keeping yourself anonymous? Have you met some? I don't want to say backlash, but some problems. Being so public with your recovery and with your story. In the community.
Great question. Go ahead. You go first.
Yeah.
You go.
So, what's up? I'm Seth. I'm an alcoholic, drug addict. I am very open about my recovery. There's a lot of people, especially in this community, that know me, that knew me as the drunk, that knew me as the party boy, and I want them to know me as the sober Seth. I talk about it at work. I talk about it at the grocery store. I talk about it at the restaurant from time to time when they ask me if I want to drink. If we go in for happy hour or something, hey, what's up? What do you want to drink? And, sometimes I'll be like, what do I want? I want a Jim and 7, but I know I can't have that because I won't be able to stop at just one. So I'm very open about it, and I don't think there's been one time or one person that I've told that I don't drink because I'm in recovery that says, oh, my God, you're up. I caught it.
Good job.
They're more of like, wow, that's awesome. That's cool that you were able to pull yourself up out of that. Loud and clean, baby. So I'm very open about it. I won't share someone else's name or story or whatever unless they want to. But for me, I try to talk about it as much as I can, because if I don't remember, I'll be right back.
It's a great question. I've kind of thrown this back and forth a lot, to be honest, like especially when I first started the podcast, because that's a common thing, traditions and being respectful of that. I always try to follow that. I have two things. Number one, I hid stuff for so long in my life and kept stuff secret. I don't want to do that shit anymore. Like, I want to live openly and free. Okay, so that's why that's one reason that I'm very open about it and I talk about it. And number two, if I can't share like my story and what the things that I've learned or gone through or whatever, like how can they say in recovery to keep what you have, you got to give it away. And so how can I help somebody else if I'm not sharing what I go through, and at the same time being respectful of other people's stuff? Just like Seth said, I'm not going to go tell somebody else's story or anything like that. But I've always felt that for me, I like to be open about it. And I'll tell you one last thing. I work in the corporate world too. I do a corporate podcast for PG&E. I love my job, and I talk to a lot of different people in all different departments of. It's a big company, and what I do comes up a lot because I was able to start the podcast through PG&E through Sober Guy. That's kind of how that's kind of how I ended up doing what I do. And 9 times out of 10, it always comes up that I'm in recovery. And from the CEO all the way down to the person in the mailroom where I started at, almost every single time that conversation comes up, I don't even talk to people at work a lot of the time about work. I end up talking about personal stuff. And I don't know, maybe that's just, I don't really get it sometimes, but 9 times out of 10, they got a brother, a cousin, a nephew, themselves, somebody struggling with some mental health issues or addiction or something, and that opens them up. And so, I know I talked a little bit more than I planned to on that topic, but that's kind of my justification or whatever you want to call it. But really good question, and I appreciate you asking it and coming tonight, Sarah. Thank you. All right, we want to hit this raffle. Yes, Kim, please. Yes.
Piggybacking on that.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. And what I want to say, and I'm Kim, I'm Seth's mom. I'm not in recovery, but I support my boys in their recovery.
Thanks, Kim.
And as far as the anonymity, I can't say that word, but
I can't either.
No, I can't either. It's a tough one.
Nobody can. When you're in your addiction, shame is what is driving you through that addiction. And you're hiding and you have all the secrets, and that is feeding your addiction. So I really appreciate that you are being honest and open and raw, because that's going to help other people. That's going to show people that it's okay, that they can do this, that if you can do this, they can do this. And I think that you should keep that up. And as far as, you're not revealing other people's stuff, but I think the paradigm shift is so necessary in the recovery world. That's all.
Yeah. Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Mom. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's true. And that's, that's part of ending, or at least trying to battle back the stigma of addiction and depression. I mean, like, what is it? 25% of the population, struggles with depression on the daily basis, and the numbers are crazy out there. How many people go through different mental health issues? And so, if we're not talking about it in a public space and being open about it, how are we going to start to help to end that? And that's one of the big reasons that we get to do some of this work with the podcast and just be of service. That's really what it's about. All right, guys. Well, I think that's probably going to wrap us up for tonight. I love you guys. Like, I appreciate every single one of you for coming out tonight and supporting us, supporting recovery, just supporting living a better lifestyle. That's really what this is about. We have people here in recovery and not in recovery. It doesn't matter. We're all going through stuff in life, and this is what it's about, is coming together, having a little bit of fun, and stepping out of our comfort zone a little bit. Seth, you want to?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback onto that, man. Thank you, everyone, for coming and being a part of my recovery today. Like I said, I've been kind of going through it mentally, and to be 100% honest, like, I didn't want to sit up here tonight, but I was obligated to, and people like you showing up made me do that tonight. So thank you so much for being a part of my recovery tonight, for getting me out of my not comfortable zone and back into my not comfortable zone. But no, on the real, thank you so much for coming out. I love you guys just as much as Shane loves you guys. And obviously thank you to Journey Eco Chic for repping it. Thank you guys. If you want any more info too about Sober Guy, you can go on the Sober Guy website. It's www.thatsoberguy.com. We have some resources. We're connected to some great treatment centers too. If you have a family member, somebody who's struggling out there, there's tons of videos, tons of podcasts, all that kind of stuff, and we appreciate you guys' support. So thank you again, and if you want to hang out for a little bit and shoot the crap around, man, we'd love to do that. Love you guys. Thank you.